Hello guys and welcome. At this stage you should have now set up Ubuntu and installed the Visual Code text editor. Let's open the Visual Code text editor now. The first thing you want to do is click Explorer and then Open Folder. You'll now be prompted with a dialog and asked to select a folder. Create a folder and name it whatever you like. I will call it First Project. Now select OK. Great, you've just created a folder. Now select the new file icon to create a new file. Name the file main.cpp. At this point you're going to want to create a function called main that returns an integer and takes 2 arguments. I'll explain more about this at the end of the tutorial. Just copy exactly what I'm doing. Excellent, this is the first function that is called when you run your program after it has been compiled. Now scroll to the top of the file and type the following. What this does is includes the IOStream header file, which contains references to the output stream, which will allow us to output a message to the terminal. Copy what I'm doing. std is a namespace that contains the output stream for outputting to the terminal. We'll discuss more on namespaces in a future lecture. We are accessing the cout stream inside the std namespace. This program is very simple and simply prints out the message hello world to the terminal. We now need to compile this program into an executable file so we can run it. Open up the folder where your files are stored and right click and press Open in Terminal. Excellent. Now type the following. With this command we instruct the G++ compiler to compile our file named main.cpp and output a file named main in the local directory where our terminal was opened. Now press enter. Now type /main and press enter to run our executable. Well done, you have done it. You can now see hello world printed to the screen. You have just created your first program in C++. We are now going to create a function in C++ that will take 2 integers, sum them together and return the result. We will then output that result to the screen. One simple mistake that has been made here is I forgot to return an integer for the function main. C++ will not throw an error if you forget to do this, so it's important to return a value for non-void types. So we do return x plus y in the sum function, and that will take our two function arguments x and y and sum them together and then return the result. Back in our main function, we need to declare a variable called result. It will be of type init. We will set its value to the result that is returned from the sum function for the values we provide to it. We will provide 5 and 5, which should return 10. Excellent, now we'll output the result to the terminal. Finally, we need to compile the program again and then run it to see our result. Go back to the terminal and press the up arrow until you find the command to compile the file, and press enter, then run the command ./main to run your program. As you can see, we see a message, the result of 5 plus 5 is 10. So earlier when I showed you the main function, I told you I would talk about it more later. So we are going to talk about it briefly, but more will be discussed in future lectures. So functions allow you to structure a program into sections of code and run those sections of code whenever you feel like. Functions can take values which the section of code in the function can then read. In a more complex example, you might have a function that sends an email, and the function will require the email address to send an email to. The email address would be the value that is passed to the function. The code inside the function would then access the value and send the email. This allows someone to send emails with just one line of code because they call the function which contains the code for sending the email. This allows the programmer not to repeat himself. The main function is the standard entry point for executables and is where your C++ program will start running. Before your program runs, values can be passed to it. This is why the main function takes two arguments, argc and argv. Argc holds the number of values that were passed to the function, and argv holds the data of those values. Ignore the multiplication symbols for now. This specifies argv is pointing to a pointer, which points to a pointer, which points to a value. This will be explained properly in future lectures. This is just a brief overview on functions, and the next lecture is on data types. After this will be a more detailed lecture on functions, so don't worry if you feel lost. Thanks for watching.